Hello and welcome to Shredded Cels, Episode 6. I am your host, Alex Schmitz, and with me today is Marc Goldsmith.
How's it going?
Matt Lunn.
Hey, howdy, hey.
And Jeremy Zajac.
Hello, Clarice.
A very creepy way to start the podcast. Yes, we are a part of Tech Heads, which is part of AVW Productions, a video production organization here on campus. We do all sorts of stuff about video games, movies, music, anime. That's why we're here today to talk about on this podcast.
Whoa, do tell.
I know, right? But first, before we get into the anime discussion for this week, let's talk about what anime we've watched since we were last here 2 weeks ago. Anyone want to start? Anyone?
I guess I'll start. Watching more and more One Piece. One Piece has become my life, unfortunately. It has absorbed me, and I am its victim.
Blah, blah. You like to do that a lot, don't you?
Yeah, you know what? Because whenever I hear you guys complain about how busy you are, I just want to murder you.
Hey. I'm 316 episodes into One Piece now. And a month ago, I was only 212.
You're right, and I'm 320 pages into a business law textbook.
Oh, that sounds like a
You do
lot
realize
of fun.
different things bother different people.
Yes,
right?
but he's complaining about doing something in his leisure time.
I love it, though. It's so much greatness.
Yeah, I don't love mine.
See, I don't think that's really complaining. I think that's just called...
It's like, yes, I'm being absorbed into it.
Okay. I
And
retract
now
my
that
point.
they've got that new PS3 Pirates game coming out, I've watched it over 20 times. I hate to say it. Like, I watch it like 5 times. It's just like, oh, I can't wait.
You mean
Yeah.
the trailer?
Yeah, I keep watching it over and over because I'm like pumped. I'm gonna like. I have a question for you. Did they come out like on a PSN does it come out that midnight or?
No,
There's probably a particular release time for
You
it.
got to figure that time out, Mark, so I can download it right there and then.
I'll look into it.
I'll
you
skip
sure not
classes all day just to play it.
Yo, dog, I heard you like pirates, so we pirated your pirate game. That way you can feel like a pirate while you play games about pirates because it's pirated.
There was someone who said the best way to be a pirate is to pirate like a song, like pirate a song about pirates and then buy the song so that you can support the pirates. So you can feel like a pirate as you support the pirates.
There you go. There are pirates everywhere.
But we do not support piracy.
No.
Just so you guys know.
No, this is true.
Bad Matt.
Mark, have you watched any anime?
Yeah, I watched every week I watch at least one episode of an anime, which is One Piece, because I always watch the new episode that comes out on Saturdays.
It is useless to
I
resist.
don't think I've watched much else this week, just because usually I've just been busy either with school or playing League of Legends, which isn't. I don't think you can consider that being busy. That's just something I like to do.
Right. And then Jeremy, what about you?
No. Stop it, Mark. No. Yeah. Nothing at all this week. Yeah, literally nothing. I haven't watched. I haven't turned on my TV this week. It has been a terrible week for me.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should
Help
include
me.
that I've been watching stuff at the J-Con stuff like Black Lagoon, Paradise Kiss.
I mean, I've literally watched nothing.
Nothing.
At all.
But you just said that you're more episodes into Gankutsuo, so when did you do that?
I did that. Okay. Okay.
Did it pick up for you?
Yeah, it started to pick up. That was last week that I watched it.
Okay, well,
I meant this
Oh,
week.
technically it has been 2 weeks.
yeah, that's the thing.
And I still haven't gotten back to it.
Okay,
Yes.
I
Well,
was,
that's your
I was,
fault.
I was more talking about this week. But literally, since Saturday, I haven't turned on my television.
Oh, well, that's sad. As
First world problems.
pretty much. And as for
I had to
me,
study for 4 hours.
kind of like Matt, I went to one of the J-Con screenings and got to see 3 episodes of Black Lagoon,
Which I
is-
liked. I liked those 3 episodes. Those were about the sunken submarine.
Yep, they were. It's pretty good. I've heard good things about it. It's definitely not very, character or plot heavy, but it's an action show. And who doesn't like guns and explosions, right? Mm-hmm. And
I'll
then,
tell you who.
who.
People who hate America.
Oh, really? Those
America!
commies. Yes, and also one of the anime we'll be discussing today is The Legend of Korra. And after watching those first 2 episodes of that show, I went on iTunes and downloaded the entirety of season 3 of the original Avatar and watched all of that in the course of 2 days. And I've just come to the realization that even though I'm a couple of years older, that show is still as awesome as I remember it to be. Like, it's one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. No comments?
Like I was telling you, Alex, about Korra, the fact that actually, as far as animation-wise, I was very impressed with how fluid a lot of those fight scenes are. I had to actually say that it's probably a lot better than what's coming out in anime right now. I mean, it's an American Korean show. I mean, it's not technically anime, but if you look at what the Japanese have come out, there's a lot of low frame rates. There's nothing that's been this nice and fluid, and that's something I gotta say I loved.
I got one gripe with Korra right now. It's
The
not
city.
and that's not well, aside from the city and some of the things that just make me go, no, no, that doesn't work that way. But anywho, there's one artistic problem I have right now with the show, and it's only one character, or I guess not really even a character. It's more of an object.
Are you talking about the statue?
No.
That wasn't that bad.
It's not that bad. No, I'm talking about the polar bear dog.
What's wrong with the polar bear dog? I want a polar bear dog
I think it's awesome.
No. The idea is very interesting. The problem is the fact that its paws are so. I mean, its legs are just so misshapen. If they were both the same size, like dog sized or polar bear sized, I'd be fine.
But the idea is that the front paws are like polar bears and the back paws are like dog
doggies.
paws.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense. It's Korra.
Appa doesn't make sense.
No, you're right. Appa doesn't make sense, but Appa is well proportioned, so I can look past that.
As long as
Do you have
it's
like character
proportioned.
OCD?
Yes,
I think so. No, I love the
should be
polar bear dog. I want a polar bear dog now. I'm waiting for scientists to make it now.
that's kind of horrifying.
Create a mutant.
You're gonna be waiting a while.
Scientists wished to create the ultimate animal. It would be part polar bear and part
Fine, I'll go
dog.
down to Rapture and go get it.
I don't know. Personally, I would take Appa over the polar bear dog
No,
any
I'd take
day of the
polar
week.
bear
Well, the
dog.
problem
I
is
would
that
actually take polar bear dog. just
Really?
'cause,
But
yeah.
Appa, you
It's
can
so
fly.
fluffy.
Yeah, okay.
But polar bear dog's so cute.
It's a
No, my
doggy.
dad could beat up your dad. But moving forward,
Yes. All right. So we've already sort of started talking about Korra, and our email this week is about Korra, as you'd expect.
Whoa.
I know, right? It's almost like this is a segue.
Segway.
No, yeah, this is from my sister Olivia, who emailed us a couple, like last quarter for one show. And she said, I finally got around to listening to Shredded Cell's 4th episodes, and since it was on the same day as the Korra premiere, I thought about this for your podcast. Now, some people would say that shows like Avatar and Korra aren't anime because although it's basically the exact same style, it was made in America. Agree or disagree? I just thought it would be an interesting thing to discuss. Tell your tech heads buds to keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for that
So
email,
nice.
Olivia. And she does bring up a good point, because if we define anime as Japanese animation, then Avatar is definitely not anime.
it's
I think this is what this Shredded Shells should probably be most likely is. Yes, we do talk about anime on the major forefront, but if there's something other animation that's out in the world,
That's
let's
awesome.
talk about it.
If it's awesome or if it's just truly awful, let's talk about it.
Exactly.
And luckily, Korra is more on the awesome side.
Oh no, if it was awful, I would still be ranting about it.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, I'm glad that we're complimenting it and not, just
Raging.
bashing it because it's terrible. Because
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Bash your
actually.
head in.
I'm not a big fan. Honestly, though, there's a couple things I'm not a big fan about with the show so far, but I'm actually enjoying it.
Now, like, one thing I can identify with it, like, I know you two aren't gonna not sorta, but like the whole 1930s feel, the Bacano,
Oh, I
it feels
love that.
Bacano-ish to me.
No, I enjoy the setting. There's just been one thing that's been bothering me up to this point. Where are the
Interesting.
firearms? They have combustion engines. They have electricity.
Where's the guns?
They have cars, people.
God.
Guns were invented hundreds of years before
Musket
cars.
men.
Yeah, nothing.
I don't know.
They might be there. Maybe they just haven't appeared yet.
Yeah,
But
I can think of the only reason why they wouldn't have guns is because honestly,
it's a kid show, I know.
well, that and shooting fire, in my opinion, might be more
Cooler.
effective.
No,
as
you're
than
right.
a
You're
gun.
right. But the non-benders need a way to defend themselves too.
What if that's their weapon? Like
It's
the
a gun.
non-benders invented guns.
That might, if that's what happens, I will completely rescind my statement. That's one of the things though, that really bothers me because it doesn't make just for just for me personally, it just kind of my
Grab
head
your
hurts.
sickle and grab your hammer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about both Avatar and Korra is obviously their drawing style is very much anime, obviously 2D with sort of those anime eyes, not like the gigantic chibi ones.
Yeah.
But
Those give me nightmares.
Yeah, those are kind of creepy. But the whole style and especially in the original Avatar, all the Asian influences and the culture and the story in the world, it was obviously very much inspired by anime and stuff.
Honestly, yes, we're going by, Japanese animation is anime. So technically, no, it's not anime. But at the same time, I really think it is anime because if the style is almost the exact same, I mean, I would consider it in the same vein, So, no, it's not. But if you put an anime and then Korra side by side, you'd be like, oh yeah, they're both animes,
Right. It'd be hard to tell the difference.
Exactly.
Yep. And a lot of Japanese animation already is exported to Korea.
Very true. Okay, so yes, getting into our discussion about Korra, a couple of us, Matt couldn't be there at the time, but a couple of us the rest of us were watching.
I watched it.
You watched it, but not with us.
Not with you. So
Jeremy's
the
room.
experience is ruined. I can't deal with it now. I don't know if I could ever appreciate Korra the same way because I watched it myself.
You clearly can't.
It was a lot more fun talking about it as it happened.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. And one thing that came up to us while we were watching it is, especially in that second episode, Korra's kind of a jerk.
She is a jerk.
Now, I
They
understand.
better change that.
No, I understand that she's very proud of the fact that she's the Avatar.
Punk.
But here's the problem. And I understand now. Compared to, I don't want to compare her to Aang because they're two very different characters. But you're gonna have to because she's also Aang.
Right.
Yeah,
Technically.
exactly.
For those of you who have watched Avatar, you'll get that. Thank you. But anywho, the problem is that she almost. I understand that they wanted to make a character that was nothing like Aang. They might have gone a little too far though, because I know Aang acted like a child early on. But the thing is, though, the real comparison, even when Aang acted like a child, he was still likable. When Korra really starts to get bad, it's like I want to punch her in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely want to punch her in the face.
Yeah.
I think it's really unfair though to call her a jerk because if she was a jerk, she wouldn't. She would have seen like those shopkeepers getting almost mugged from their money and just gone like, oh, the authorities will handle it, and just walk away and let it happen.
No, but here's the thing though. She's a jerk for a different reason. She's a jerk because she's a show off. She didn't save those people because it was the right thing to do.
She's like,
she did it because it would be the most.
But being a show off does not make you a jerk.
Yeah.
Yes, it can. It
no.
puts a bad.
No, but
image
inherently,
on you.
just being a show off doesn't make you a jerk. You can show off and help people, which is what she was doing.
I understand, but she still comes off as just being unpleasant most of the
Okay.
I
time.
understand, but I think
she,
jerk
like,
is
disobeys
the wrong word to use.
Tenzin.
And it's like in the end it's like, oh, I didn't, no offense to the second episode's writing, I didn't feel like she got punished. Like, it's like, okay, she needs to understand that's not what she's gonna do. I have a feeling she's gonna rebel even more because it's like, I rebelled against you, I went to do this, and guess what, I'm starting to get airbending now, so I'm just not gonna even listen to
But
you.
the thing I get from that though is that she needs to be taught. It
differently.
was also part of Tenzin's fault because yes, she was. That's hilarious because I was about to say she was being a jerk. I don't think she herself is a jerk, but like you can like
She's
act
ADD.
like a jerk. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think she was being really mean to Tenzin when she was just like, yeah, you're a terrible teacher. So yeah, that was her fault, but it's also partly Tenzin's fault because Tenzin kept saying, just be patient, be patient, be patient. You'll get it, you'll get it, you'll get it. And she wasn't getting it, and he just like kept doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't adapting.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Korra like tries something else, oh, bada bing, bada boom. Guess what? She learns it. You know,
Tenzin does have an excuse though. Now, I guess what that kind of shows us about airbending is it's patience based, and Korra has shown that she has none so far.
Exactly.
Now here's the thing though with Korra. Now, honestly, I would have been a little less sympathetic for Tenzin if it hadn't been for the fact that Korra basically went against orders for no reason at all to follow him to Republic City. And basically, that right off the back shows that she really doesn't care about what other people. Now, I don't want to make this sound bad, but she really doesn't care about what other people say. Oh, and Katara's going senile.
No, well, here's two things. One, she's been in the same camp, kept it locked up in there for what, 16 years? Yeah, I'd say, I can see why she'd be getting a little bit antsy. And then another thing is that she's heard stories about Aang and all of their adventures and how he got to travel everywhere at the age of 10, and she's 16.
110.
Oh,
Technically.
right, whatever. Okay, 10. He was 10 years old, and she's 16, and she hasn't moved from the same spot the whole time. Like, I can actually see why she would be like, okay, you know what? If he can't come to me, I'm gonna go to him, and I'm gonna start my adventure finally.
Right. Well,
You know?
and the fact that he's literally the only airbender in the entire world who could teach her, and if she wants to be a complete avatar, she has to master all 4 elements.
And that's fine, and I can sympathize with that. The problem is, though, I think that when the way she kind of did it, it just kind of strikes me as being... she kind of struck me as being unpleasant as she did, because it didn't seem like, well, I feel like I need to experience the world. It's like, well, I just feel like being a rebel for being a rebel's sake.
Yeah.
And that's what it came off as to me, and that's why it really bothered me so much. If she had just left because it's like, well, I feel like I need to learn this now, and it's not because of, well, I just feel like I have to rebel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, the thing, though, is that I think that there are little subtle hints that go more toward what I was saying, because you know how she looks over at one of like the leaders and she says, you can't just keep me. I don't think Aang would have wanted, you to keep me locked up in here, that kind of thing. And I think because that part literally lasts like 5 seconds, that part might go over your head kind of for a second there. Whereas her rebelling part lasts for like the whole episode. So
Yeah.
I think that part sticks out. Whereas the little parts of like her being cooped up, kind of goes under the bridge.
No, and I understand that she's cooped up, and I understand if she had just left because of, like, if she just said, I can't be here anymore, okay, that's fine. But the problem is that she just went she was really overboard about it. She went in head first.
But that's the whole point of her character.
I know.
Yeah.
But after a while, that gets on my last nerve.
Well, I kind of understand a little bit of both arguments, because obviously this is a character type that's been done 1,000 times before. The rebellious teenager and the wise old master. Of course she's going to rebel and do things, that are kind of risky.
And then she'll clearly teach him that she truly is the master, while as he still needs to learn.
Well, I think there was...
I don't think that's how it's going to be.
I really hope that's not how it's
I
going to be.
hope it's not. That, like I said, the second episode, it felt a little off, because it's like she's getting her way, and that's...
Yeah, but at the same time, defending Mark's argument, like, she makes the point, I think, when Tenzin's teaching her how to meditate, and she says, like, air is the element of freedom, and you need like a calm environment. She's like, oh yeah, air is the element of freedom, and you're keeping me locked up here on this island. And he doesn't really have a response to that. She does make some points against his sort of teaching method.
I have a response.
Yes.
Here's the response you could have used. Because you're supposed to be stuck on this island, because that's what the metal bender said you should, where you said you should be, because you're a menace.
Oh, laws. No, but did you see what that at the end of the first episode, she went into the public and actually gave her speech and said,
I think that was a plot hole, honestly.
I don't think so.
Plot hole?
No, they never addressed it. She never addressed the fact that, well, Tenzin said, you could stay. What? I'm sorry.
Well,
what?
actually, if you look at that scene, while she's giving that speech, Tenzin's standing there, and so is
I saw her.
Beifong.
I saw her there, and that's the problem, though. I know it may not seem important to you guys, but just like a little confrontation there between those two, just him trying to convince her so that Korra can stay, that would have been enough for me. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But the problem was it wasn't there, so it almost just feels like she just went, oh, she's still here? Whatever.
Yeah. Although one thing I did notice is in the second episode, when she's trying to force herself to airbend, and she's got like the little newspaper, on a string, it's got her face right on it. So you can tell there's some animosity already between Korra and the Beifong. Lin, isn't her name Lin Beifong?
Lin, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary on Korra's part.
I see.
Well, I mean,
Now don't get me wrong. Beifong was pretty nasty to her when they first met, and that's fine. But Beifong did have a point. The jerk had
She-
a point.
Yeah, she did
Yeah.
have a point. I just find it funny that she was like, "Yeah, Toph helped Aang," and
What?
yeah, and then exactly, and she's like, "Yeah, that was history. Don't
Yeah.
really care."
I was
She's got a point.
Yeah, she does have a point. I was wondering though, like if that's maybe speaking to some sort of like something about Lynn's character, like that she maybe has some sort of animosity or jealousy towards like her mother.
I think that's
Toph.
exactly what it is.
It's probably exactly what it is. Probably because Toph could, speak with the earth with her feet or some
Yeah.
such. Yeah, she probably can't do that, and she's probably really jealous.
What that would be
Or trying to
interesting.
live up, at least live up to her mother's legacy.
Wait, did we ever see the police chief metal bend?
I think she did metal bend on her way out
Okay.
because I think that's how she opened the door.
Okay, that would make sense. 'Cause I was about to say that would make an interesting villain, like if she was with the, like, as the police chief, but sided with the,
See, but then
I already
cool,
know that's not going to happen.
yeah, but then the coolest characters in the show, the metal benders, will then be the villains, and I'd be like, no. And clearly, the metal benders are clearly the coolest characters in the game because they. Oh my god, the game! Wow. I'm sorry, everyone.
Spider-Man.
Shut up. No, but yeah, they're like it's like having a police force made up of Spider-Man.
Pretty much.
Nothing but Spider-Man.
That whole segment was pretty cool. I mean, it makes sense, that the police force of this place would be metal benders.
I find it hilarious though that they were trying to catch Korra because they were mad that she tore up the street. And then they themselves, you could see them.
Yeah,
they were
breaking
tearing up.
stuff.
Yeah, the guys sliding on the roof. They were breaking the roof as they were sliding on it. Are you kidding me?
Now, there's a bit of a difference there, though. They weren't really mad about her breaking stuff so much as her being a vigilante. That's illegal in pretty much every country, Mark. It's been illegal for years. Now,
No, but
I understand. No, I understand your point. I do really do. Yeah, they were breaking stuff as they went along.
Okay, to me, it seemed like at first they were more upset about her wrecking the street. So that's why I was kind of like annoyed when I saw them breaking stuff. I'm like, no.
Right.
I think the comparison here, though, that can be made is they probably did about a couple, maybe about $100 worth of damage chasing her. She probably did
worse. Yeah.
much
Yeah,
worse. She
yeah.
destroyed the street. It's kind of hard to fix that.
Okay, but if she bended the street to destroy it, I'm sure you can bend it back into place.
You didn't see that though about the street, did you? It was a cobblestone street. You can't bend. They could remember earthbending isn't that fancy. It's mostly just giant rocks and whatnot. Remember?
metal bending's so much cooler.
Yeah.
Clearly it is. It's much more refined. But yeah, no, but
Yeah, but
they're gonna have to. Someone's gonna have to fix that by
yeah,
hand.
well, not necessarily. I mean, we've seen precision
was like,
earthbending before.
Couldn't you just levitate one piece, put it back in place?
Do you know how long that would take?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be tiring.
It's not
Well,
You've obviously never done something for 9 hours on end that's boring. You will be tired. It's mental exhaustion. It's a little different.
Okay.
It's like a car
yeah,
ride.
but-
When you ride in a car for like 9 hours, you're
Oh,
tired.
boo-hoo.
first world
Riding in a
problems.
car.
Oh, you're
That's
gonna
so
really
hard.
boo-hoo me there?
Yeah. There's nothing. Hold on. Would you rather sit
geez,
in
here
a
we go.
car for 9 hours or labor over fixing a street for 9 hours?
Ride in the car.
Thank you.
All right,
Moving on.
I'd like to bring up something that you said because you made the point about how the White Lotus people are keeping Korra stuck in that water or are they in the South Pole or the North
The
Pole?
water tribe. I don't know.
I think it was the
which.
North Pole from the looks of it because of how small it was.
Maybe.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna take a stab and
So-
say North Pole.
Okay, so the North Pole. But what I thought was interesting is that the White Lotus said that they were instructed by Aang to find the next avatar and keep them safe. And obviously, Korra makes the point like, "Oh, I don't think he would want me stuck in this place, forever." And how we think of Aang, that's probably true. But I think it would be interesting if they took the show in the opposite direction and be like, maybe Aang, over the course of growing older, became more of sort of a controlling, more realist sort of, thinker. So what if like
That would be really interesting.
Yeah, if
Aang
he
just
changed.
did like a 180.
not a 180, but he became like you said, more realist, sort of more strict
Okay,
than
fine.
he was before.
A 90. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Right.
his personality changed from that carefree,
I'd stop being carefree too after I fought the giant fire shooting monster man.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to happen. They're probably going to keep Aang, sort of as we knew him in the show, but it would be very interesting if they went in the opposite direction. Oh, sorry, Jeremy. Go
So
ahead.
how about them villains?
Yeah, I was just about to go into that.
I'm doing air quotes right now, but no one can see
Because
it.
we know very little. We literally only had that single scene at the very end of the first episode as far as what we know about them. Although I've seen some clips of future episodes that reveals a little bit more. But what do you guys think of this whole equalist, anti-bending revolution stuff?
Now, I'm going to be the one to say it, but everyone's going to give me a dirty look about it. I've got a feeling that they're not really the villains of the story. I've got a serious feeling that they're not really the
I could
villains.
almost see that. I don't know who the villain would be, but I would like that plot twist. If
Yeah,
you gave me a plot twist like
what
that.
they twist.
I think you could be right. The only reason being that they did make the Benders in Republic City seem like jerks.
And even not that they're jerks. It's like it looks like the non-benders don't really have. They're like the benders from the looks of it. They control all the upper echelon. Wow, I can't see the word today.
Echelons.
Thank you. They control all the higher power. All the higher power in the city. It looks like it's in the hands of the benders.
Mm-hmm.
The entire police force, or at least the majority of the police force, from the looks of it, is metal benders, and that's pretty major.
Yeah.
It looks like most, if not all, of the what do they call them? Senators.
The councilmen.
It
Well-
looks from the way they made it sound, they all sound like benders.
Well, Tenzin was definitely on the council. That's all we really know.
Now,
But-
the Equalists could be not the
They could be anti-villains, and
they might not be the villains if they're like, we are the Equalists. We want it to be equal. We want the Benders to be equal and the non-Benders to be equal.
Clearly that's not the case,
Okay.
'cause
Now
they've
hold
already-
on. So that would be non-villain. I would consider non-villain. A villain would be if they're like, we want all the Benders to be wiped out and to be put in camps and that kind of thing. That's like, okay, those I think
That's a Nazi. That's a little bit.
no. And do you have any doubt that could happen?
From the way the clips are starting to look up for the next episode, that might very well be the case, but it might not be quite as horrible. If you
Yes, but do
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
I don't think. I've got a feeling though that they're not going to be like the true villain of the story. Now I was actually talking about Alex with this for a little while. I can't think of his name. What's the leader? Amon. Now it says that there's apparently supposed to be some fairly major plot twist regarding Amon.
I think it's actually pronounced Amon.
I think it's Amon.
No, it's Amon.
Okay, creepy mask guy.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
They say his name.
Because remember, the guy's like, Amon, how do you want to handle this? He's the Batman. Pretty much. Oh, well, and quick side note, Amon's very cool, deep voice, like, so the Avatar is, in Republic City,
Oh, one
was
thing-
Stephen J. Blum.
And
Yeah, from Bebop.
and for those of you who play League of Legends, he looks almost exactly like Master Yi, just with 2 eyes
Interesting.
instead of the 6 or 8 eyes or whatever.
Here's something interesting behind that name that I kind of. So
Matt, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Stop it!
technically, that the. Okay,
Okay, Matt, just turn your laptop off. Come on.
there, it's done. The word Amon, it stands for educator and builder.
Interesting.
Just to throw that into the twist.
He's building a new institution for non-benders.
There you go.
No.
Yes, why don't you explain your theory, Jeremy?
Now this is what I was thinking though, because the way that they're making it seem like Amon has some huge major secret. Now I presented this to Alex and he thought it was silly, but I don't know. It might be the case. Maybe there's more than one Avatar. Now I know they've never brought this up before in the series, but think about it. Aang was pretty awesome. And maybe his spirit couldn't be just contained in one person. So maybe
that would
No. I know the looks I'm getting right now. But think about it. It could very well be because actually, of course, he also brought up it could just be like the Kai. It should be pronounced Kai. Thing from
the first show.
Oh wait, is it Chi or oh wow?
It's
I'm getting
Chi.
stupid.
Yeah, it's
I'm
Chi.
getting stupid. Ignore me.
There are 2 things here. One, I know what you're talking about because there's like a trailer, that reveals some stuff that's going to happen in the future. And the one you're thinking about is it looks like Amon is like at this, anti-bender, political rally basically. And Korra's like sitting there in the crowd and she says something like, "That's impossible," or something like that. And that's what you're referring
and then
to.
and then they show Amon blocking a fireball with his hand.
I'll have to look at that because I don't remember that. I remember seeing Korra shoot some fire like up a rope, and then Amon like walking out and a whole bunch of the other equalists getting hit, and he just walks it off like it's nothing.
Either that, or he's actually secretly made up of Tyrant from the Resident Evil series.
Now, what if he claimed to be the real Avatar, and then but it was just a bunch of like parlor tricks? Like maybe he has a bunch of like different mechanical things on him that like
clearly
make it look like he can deflect things. And
then clearly he's more awesome than Korra because he's turned himself into a techno mage.
Wouldn't that be really cool? I think it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, he deserves to win just for transforming himself into the techno mage.
I don't know. The problem with that, it seems,
I think if the villains who had cooler weaponry deserved to win, history would be a lot worse.
A lot worse. The Fire Nation would have won. We know.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing.
They should have won. That makes no sense when they were fighting what clearly was two of the most incompetent nations of all time.
Except Toph could like just wreck any of those machines because
but she was one person.
That's true.
That's true. Well, the thing with Amon is it seems like it would be the ultimate hypocrisy for him not only to be a bender, because the thing I've thought up of is if these guys are, so anti-bender, then the Avatar, who's basically the bender among benders, the specialist bender of them all, is probably like the person they hate the most.
But that would actually be interesting, right? Because what if Aang's personality split up into two parts? Aang the protector and the more rebellious side of Aang like went to Korra, but the more protective side of Aang went to Amon, and Amon sees that the benders they're not like a good thing anymore. They're starting to become more dangerous.
Well, hold on. I'm looking at this from more of a realistic side because I'm looking at this from the whole point that I made about what if Amon's tricking them and he's just using parlor tricks. Now, the thing is that if he could get the support of the non-benders and make them think he's the Avatar, think about it. The non-benders would have the biggest argument of all. The Avatar, the bender of benders, is siding with the non-benders, telling them that the benders have too much power.
But what sense does that make if this guy is against bending and is leading all these people against bending, but he can bend,
No, but
it makes sense.
No, but do you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying about the Avatar, and how it's sort of a special place. And so if the Avatar is saying it's like a command, from a prophet or something.
Okay, for example, let me put this in real terms. If the president of the United States went over to like Mexico and was like, "Hey, Mexico, the U.S. is really, just messing you guys up. You should rebel against the U.S."
Right.
Then Mexico would be like,
Mark,
yeah,
that makes no sense because for them to rebel against the U.S., they would have to be under United States control. Now, if you said it.
Well, yeah, I get that.
No, but do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're getting at.
And then Mexico but then Mexico would be like, "Oh, well, your president says we should rebel, so that's what we're going to do." Like,
well, there's two issues. I'm going to address your argument and then Jeremy's argument. One, the Avatar isn't like the president is obviously a political position. The Avatar isn't political. She's supposed to be a protector of all four nations, the balance in the world. The problem with him being the Avatar, let's say that Aang's spirit somehow did split, and there were two avatars. The problem is that the new avatar is born when the last one dies, and Korra's 17 years old, so that would mean Amon would have to be 17 years old as well, and he's obviously older than that.
How is he obviously? Have you seen his face?
I guess
I haven't seen his face.
It's true. I guess it's possible, but it seems highly unlikely that he'd be 17.
You're right. This is a case of epileptic trees.
What?
8,000 theories.
I see. But my theory with the Equalists is because I personally do think that they're going to be the main villains of the show, but I do think that they're going to be somewhat sympathetic because I think the writers of the show would be foolish to miss out on this opportunity that they've created for themselves to make the show really quite dark. Because if you think about it, I'm sure there is some truth to their whole argument that the benders, like Jeremy was saying, they control the police, they control politics, they are oppressing them to a certain extent, and these guys are just taking it to a violent extreme, but they do have a good argument, for it. So that would make an interesting story, of course, fighting against these people, but they have a good point, like benders are doing some terrible things to non-benders in Republic City. What do you do about that? And to make some sort of indecision there.
Now, I guess I'm going to come along and say this right now. This is something I actually just realized. Did you guys realize how long it took the police to Now you know the police. Apparently, the police, those zeppelins that they show,
They move
all
too
those are
quickly.
police. They didn't come in very quickly up until the point that Korra started beating on the
Yes.
on the other benders.
Very well.
That's kind of interesting now that I think it's probably just a coincidence, but
I think it was more convenient timing for the purpose of the show. You know,
Yeah.
that they show Korra fighting, beating them all up, and
They
then the
move too
police show
quickly
up.
for my taste. 'Cause they just kind of like, it's like
Yeah, but-
coming in.
yeah, I know, but it
know,
would be
it
kind
would
of
be
interesting
realistic.
though if that was really the case.
Well,
Yeah, because maybe I don't want to say they have a deal, but it's possible. If they were that quickly to apprehend Korra, how is it that all this gang violence is
They
going
don't
on?
care.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
no.
what I was thinking. It's,
Yeah.
oh, they're benders. It's okay.
Exactly.
or maybe it was the sort of thing like if you think about it, Korra delayed them, you know, by fighting them and stuff. Maybe the gang attacks are usually like really quick, you know, sort of strike and
But
then
that
run
was-
away.
That meeting did not seem quick when he was like, "Hey man, hey shopkeeper, gotta hand over that money or
Also-
else your shop can't protect it anymore."
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's just me getting maybe it's just me just kind of noticing this, but the cops seem hyper competent for what we've seen of them so far. Maybe the majority of them aren't, but it seems like they're pretty competent. From what the moves that they pulled off and whatnot. The gangsters seemed really bad at what they're supposed to
Now,
do.
talking about the gangsters, though, like with how they protect the shop, so to say, that really reminds me, if you want to take a theme, Asian theme from Japan, the Yakuza.
They called them the Triad.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the gang was called the Triad.
That's what they're called.
and I want to say, isn't that an old gang from?
Yeah, I think they're the triple triad or
Yeah.
something like that.
Because I've listened to, I've investigated, or not really investigated, but listened on to about like the Yakuza in Japan and whatnot, and what they do and everything, and it's really interesting how deep the crime over in those crime syndicates in Japan, how deep they run. Like they control like even television stations and stuff, but you don't know it because they try to really keep it out, but the point is that they actually go to places and say, "You pay us the thing and we'll protect you." Just let's say the cops don't do something for you, like they give up on finding the person. We'll find them for you if you pay us the.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Korra has been training. She wants to be the best that she can be, so she's been training.
Like no one ever was.
Yeah, exactly. so she's been training ridiculously for the past however long. So she's mastered the first three elements, whatever. Not the first three, but you know what I mean. All of them except air. But the gangsters, they don't need to bend that much in order to scare non-benders. The fire guy, like anyone who bends fire, could shoot a flare.
You're right.
And that's terrifying enough to have a non-bender go, "Okay, we'll do whatever you want," because one little flare could probably set their whole shop on fire.
Yes, but here's the thing, though. He drop kicked a phonograph. He drop kicked a phonograph. It might have been a.
Yeah, it was.
It was. I think. Pretty sure it was a phonograph.
It was a phonograph.
He drop kicked one with fireballs coming out of his feet. I don't remember this correctly, but I think that's supposedly a fairly hard to do thing in the Avatar universe.
No, but what I'm saying is that remember how you said that they didn't seem very good at their job? The reason why I'm saying that is because you don't have to be a good bender in order to intimidate people.
Yeah, well,
Well, you're right, and that's fine. But if the fact of the matter is, if the cops are supposedly as good as...
Oh, yeah, they should be able to wreck these guys.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. This gang, they're everywhere. No, you should have been able to put this down a while ago.
I was agreeing with you, saying that the reason why they're probably incompetent is because they don't need to be competent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
well-
then it doesn't make sense. If the cops are,
Which is why the cops are probably working with them.
yeah.
Yeah, my thinking with that is that I mean these guys seem like they're just sort of your typical thugs for this gang, and I mean this wasn't like a big hit or anything like that. They're just going after this one shopkeeper. So they're probably not the elite gangsters or the people who are best in the gang.
I don't know. They were driving an awfully nice car to be just low-level enforcers.
This is true. I want to talk real quick about a little bit more about the Equalists, because this was a theory I came up with as far as because at the very end of the first episode, Amon's line is, "So the Avatar has arrived early," which I thought was interesting because it wasn't that the Avatar has arrived. she arrived early, so they were expecting her to come.
Yes, just as planned.
Pretty much. So I'm sort of thinking that the avatars is in some way integral to their plans. My thinking was probably the more obvious thing, that they'll try to attempt in the show and fail at is, making Korra go into the avatar state and killing her, thus ending the cycle of the avatar.
Isn't that supposed to be a secret? That whole thing?
Yeah, well, Azula knew about it.
That's only because those scary frog women told her.
That's true. So, yeah, but this Amon guy is obviously, I assume, is pretty knowledgeable. So he might know stuff like that.
Oh no. I just thought of something. What if he's the child of Azula?
That would be...
I don't think so. But
I don't think so. But the fact
I want to get revenge on my brother and what he did.
Yeah.
I'm too old to do it now, so it's your turn.
I don't know. It would be interesting because obviously he's wearing a mask, so we have no idea. He could be the son of some character from the original show or a character from the original show, and they're just really old, We don't know.
Maybe it was Jet's littlest crony.
Amon didn't sound that old, though.
Yeah, he didn't sound like an old man, certainly.
If I had to guess Amon's age, even though we haven't seen his face, I would have to guess in his 20s, early 20s. I don't know.
Yeah, 20s, 30s, I'd say. But so obviously that's the more obvious sort of thing that they won't succeed at because they're not going to kill Korra. Obviously, I think the more likely thing, or a more interesting thing, would be them because this is a bit of a spoiler. But there's a plot thread coming up where Bolin gets kidnapped by the Equalists, and Mako and Korra go to try and save him, and they fight the Equalists. And I think it would be interesting if they captured, all of them and tortured Bolin and Mako in order to enrage Korra to the point where she went into the Avatar state. And because she's never done it before and can't control it, she kind of freaks out like Aang did a couple times when he was in the Avatar state, blows up a part of the city. And then they say, oh, benders are bad. This is a whole public relations nightmare. And I think that would be a really interesting twist.
That would really just mess her up. That would be terrible.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah. I think that would be a very interesting way for the show to go. Very dark.
Or even worse than that, what if instead of just blowing up part of the city, what if she accidentally blew up the Capitol building?
Yeah, well, but then they'd have to somehow move her to the Capitol building. I figured, she would be captured wherever the Equalists are hiding, and then she freaks out there. And
that would be the greatest place for them to be hiding.
That would be very interesting. You're right. And the other interesting thing about I've seen these clips on Nick.com. You can see them, and they're these short little clips from these future episodes, and that's how I know about this whole thing. And there's a sequence where Mako and Korra are fighting a bunch of Equalists in the streets, and they're fighting them, and it turns out that these Equalists are chi benders, like Ty Lee was in the original show. So that's how they beat, benders, is by knocking out their chakra points, and they can't bend.
I would like to say that Ty Lee is one of the best characters, just because of her fighting style was so awesome. Just taking.
I'm a monkey in human flesh.
Exactly.
Pretty
No,
much.
one of my favorite parts is just when she went up to Sokka and just boom, 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 and he is out. Within 2 seconds, he just couldn't.
Didn't Sokka eventually? Wasn't he the one who eventually built up an immunity to it?
I think no. I don't think he did.
It wasn't like a total immunity, but he started to resist it more and more every time she tried to do it.
And one of my favorite things is when she hit his whole body, and then he just headbutts her.
And she cannot stop his head.
That's funny. Although, so yeah, I think, talking about the whole, what these Equalists can do, to fight benders. We've seen this fact that they can do this chi bending, karate stuff. I've seen that the one guy that's Amon's second in command, the guy who turns off the radio and talks to Amon at the end of the last episode. I've seen him in a trailer with these two shock sticks, shocking a bender. So they've got electrical powers and tools as well, it appears. And
I better see a firearm real soon.
Jeremy wants his guns.
It's not just because I'm American. It's because it's just a logical progression sort of thing for me. If you somehow advance to tasers, you kind of need to have covered firearms by then.
Yeah.
Because a voltaic cell is a small voltaic cell battery. a battery. That's really redundant what I just said. But yeah, you don't get to that before you get to firearms.
Yeah.
At least not portable ones.
Although one thing I think might make your argument about Amon being a bender interesting is if he is a bender, then I think it would be very interesting. And Matt, you might want to cover yours because this is a spoiler for you. If he could energy bend. You guys remember what that is, I assume, right?
Yeah, I do. And also, he can't really cover his ears.
Well, right.
I honestly don't. I don't remember what that is.
That's what happens at the very end of the series, what Aang does to the Fire Lord. He hasn't seen season 3, so I'm not.
If
trying not
that's
to
the
spoil
case,
it
though, it almost
for him.
definitely. That's unfortunately, though. I think that might add more fuel to the he might also be the Avatar fire sort of thing.
Yeah.
That kind of seemed like a unique sort of skill for the Avatar.
It wasn't just the Avatar, it was because he talked to the lion turtle, who taught him the ability.
Yeah, so technically...
Oh, God, I just remembered the lion turtle.
Exactly. That hurt me, too, when I saw that. But what if he learned it somehow? I mean,
Exactly.
I could see another person learning it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you could energy bend if you can't already, bend other elements.
Maybe.
I don't know. I guess it's not clear because it seems like if you couldn't bend anything else, but you could energy bend, then what would be the disadvantage of you losing? You'd lose your bending, which you don't have. So that's kind of pointless, So I feel like he has to be a bender in order to energy bend. But if you were a bender, like you're saying, then that would be, I think it would be cool if he had that power because that would obviously be the perfect tool to use against benders.
Haha, I have your one true weakness. Turning your own powers against you. Oh, and electricity. Apparently, you don't like that either.
Yeah. One thing I just noticed as a tiny detail that might be interesting is in the first episode when Tenzin and his family come to where Korra's living, and the wife is like pregnant and Katara comes up to her, is like, oh, this baby is strong. I sense another airbender in your family. And then she's sort of like upset and wants, a normal kid.
Yeah.
I wonder if that might play somehow into this whole equalist anti-bending thing. Am I reading too far into this?
I think that's a joke saying, like, I'm sick of these kids blowing wind in my face.
Yeah, I can I can see it being that just for the comic relief, but at the same time, I just get the feeling, coming from a writing perspective.
So you think it might be a Chekhov's gun?
Yeah, something like that. Because coming from a writing perspective, you know that these scripts have gone through multiple drafts and revisions, and so everything that's in there has to be in there for some sort of reason. And whether maybe it was just comic relief, or maybe it is some sort of Chekhov's gun, a hint of something maybe to come.
Think about it. If you were a dad, and every time you were trying to give your kid a bath, and he just bended the water out of the bath and into your face, yeah, I would get kind of annoyed too.
I'd start scrubbing him with iron wool.
Nice.
I'm clearly kidding because I don't believe in child abuse. Clearly, it doesn't exist. Okay, I'm kidding. No, I'm not a proponent of child abuse. Mark, wipe that. Okay, you want
Man, that really offends me.
good.
Oh man.
We don't support child abuse here on
No,
Cels. Not at all. I was clearly just joking around. I'm sorry. I apologize if I offended anyone. And Mark, you're not allowed to talk. We're still mad at you about that other thing.
I'm not talking.
Oh man. And another thing.
That wasn't very nice.
Hey, we got a little animosity here on the podcast. But no,
Playful animosity.
one other thing I noticed when I was rewatching season 3 that I completely forgot about until I saw that episode, the very last one, is at the end of the series, Ty Lee becomes a Kyoshi warrior, and goes with them. And she even mentions like, oh, I taught these people, some of my chi bending moves in prison and we're best friends. Wouldn't it be interesting if the Kyoshi warriors were somehow involved with the equalists in this whole thing and they could chi bend?
That's actually what I was thinking, because they must have some kind of connection.
See, the problem is, though, with that, about the Kyoshi warriors, they're kind of founded around avatar worship.
Yeah, that would be the problem.
Therein lies the problem.
What if they were converted? What if something really bad happened and they went,
we're giving up on our past way of life.
exactly.
Maybe.
And they just did a 180 kind of thing.
Maybe, but honestly, I don't see that necessarily being the case because remember, the Kyoshi warriors were serious, just avatar worshippers.
I mean, yeah, they were the top of the crop,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if there's really no other way to describe them though aside from that.
I didn't say that saying right. What is that saying?
What do you mean?
The top of the crop.
The cream of the crop?
The cream of the crop. They are the top of the crop.
top of the
Yes.
crop. Yes.
Scarecrows that like to stay above
I
the
think-
corn.
I think it just sounded better because it rhymes.
All right. Awesome. Well, we've talked for quite a bit about Korra, so I guess let's get our final thoughts out. Firstly, for me, like, I'm trying to remember. I think I heard about Korra for the first time like near the beginning of this year. I heard like, oh, they're making a sequel to Avatar. That's cool. And then it just sort of like came upon us, and it was premiering and all that. And as a fan of the original show, like these first 2 episodes were just about everything I could have hoped. I had some small criticisms. Like I kind of felt that the little relationship between Mako and Korra felt a little forced, there at the very end of episode 2 when they're staring at each other across the lake.
Yeah,
They're not staring at each other. But
it's implied.
Yeah, it is implied. So I thought that was a little weird, but overall, I mean, it was great. Just seeing that the opening of the first episode, with the elements, and then Tenzin talking about Aang and Zuko founding Republic City and all this, it just felt so cool.
But again, though, on the off chance that Maka is in fact Zuko's child somehow, that's really really creepy when you think about it.
No,
think
what? And then no, they're not. Well, actually, I suppose it is a touch weird because Zuko's great grandfather was Roku, who was Korra in a past life.
And even
if
beyond
you go that far.
there was sort of a faux yay relationship between Zuko and Aang the whole series.
I don't know about
It
that.
wasn't a very strong one, but it was there. It was very, very light, and it was there. But for the most part, it didn't exist. Now, if there is a relationship, and on the off chance that he is Zuko's kid,
Yeah, I don't know. My problem with that is if Zuko is the Fire Lord, then his son is probably the Fire Lord now.
Oh yeah, that'd
No,
be
pro-
really curious
that
to see
would
where
make-
that goes.
but what if he's an illegitimate child? I had to think about the other
Oh
one.
my God.
Man, we're going to a dark place here.
Okay, you know what? My favorite part of the show was I really like how they went even more dramatic with the expressions because some of them were hilarious. Probably my favorite part of the entire 2 episodes that we watched was when Korra brought up that Katara actually encouraged her to go out and do what she wanted. And Tenzin said, "Don't bring my mother into this." And his face turns red, and there's like silly background music, and he's like getting all upset. And it's just they did the
You like
expressions
that?
so well. With
Clearly,
this,
Tenzin
with
is
this
going to be the best
scene.
character in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out right now.
Oh, one thing we completely forgot about, which is obviously the most important part. He airbends
Every
his
time he turns
cape.
around.
Every time,
just for dramatic effect.
and he's awesome as a
To
result.
make himself cooler. Like,
I think
Whoosh.
it
Yeah.
seems like he does it when he
He can't-
loses his temper,
yeah.
Also, he also does the beard stroking thing too.
Yes.
So yeah, clearly, he is the most awesome character right now.
Yeah. Although, like, as a fan of the original and just watching the animation during the fight scenes, like rewatching season 3 of Avatar, the animation is still wonderful. And it's amazing how much it improved from season 1, but the fluidity of it all, with like the bending matches, like in that opening fight with Korra and the other firebenders, for firebending training, like that was just awesome. How flexible like all the bending movements are and how many more frames are put into the animation.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. I mean, Avatar, the first one was really good, but Korra just seems to kind of...
Bring it to the next level.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say that yet because I want to watch through a little bit more. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, sounds like I said a lot of negative things about it so far, but honestly, I genuinely enjoyed it, and I'm actually looking forward to the next episode.
Good.
I would agree too. I mean, I'm not as adamant as Alex is about the whole series. I'm still, waiting to see what it's going to give me. 2 episodes is not enough for me to be gung ho about it yet. But I mean, it's got promise. But let's wait and see. Let's see what happens with Amon, and let's see whether we get some some firearms.
It doesn't have to be a major thing. just show they exist, just to show that the non-benders aren't total morons. Please throw me a bone here.
You know what? They'll probably throw rocks instead.
I will start crying. I'm like, oh my god, no, you people have no rights. You are just animals with legs and the power of speech.
Ouch.
You have no reason to exist.
So yeah, like I said, we'll see. I mean, it's good so far, but I've never been super into the whole Avatar stuff. I mean, I've enjoyed it, but it's never been, like the, like, I guess like the best thing to compare it is like One Piece right now. I'm really like, whoa, One Piece. And yeah.
Right. And the other anime we're going to discuss a bit more briefly than Korra, because we went on about that for quite a while, is Lupin the Third, the Castle of Cagliostro, because when we went over to Jeremy's room to watch some anime, we wanted to watch Jinro the Wolf Brigade, which Jeremy has been talking about for a while, but it's not on Netflix anymore. So we found Castle of Cagliostro, which just happened to be on there, a Miyazaki movie from the late 70s about Lupin the Third, Miyazaki's first movie, I believe. And Matt and I had seen it a couple times before, but Mark and Jeremy, you guys had not. So what is your thinking on that?
Now I'm going to say this right now. I genuinely hate the Lupin the Third series. I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of ugly most of the time.
Yep.
And my biggest complaint is I think it's annoying. It's annoying more than it's ugly. I really enjoyed the Castle of Cagliostro.
It was directed and written by Miyazaki. It's very not Lupin-esque, is so to say, which makes it kind of that weird gem out of the pile. I mean, I know a lot of people would disagree with me on this, but I could easily say it's in my top 3 Miyazaki films, with that being like Princess Mononoke, Castle in the Sky, and probably Cagliostro at the end. I mean, I like just the way the story comes out, just the plot in general, with how it's very, we have to do this to get to this, I don't know, I enjoyed that. All the characters, the voice acting, I thought it was all appropriate.
There was a lot of stuff that didn't make sense in that movie, but that's kind of like what made it funny and interesting. I just love how many times Lupin scaled a 90-degree wall
with no handholds.
Nothing to grab onto. Nothing.
He's just that skilled.
Yeah. I mean, technically he is the master thief or whatever.
He could even swim through a waterfall.
Oh,
yes.
And his disguises that like they drew the disguise to look exactly like the character he was disguising, and then after he was done talking to that person, it would show Lupin looking just exactly like himself.
Which is with the stuff. But it's kind of the idea that, I do the voice, and then, they're going to look at all my costume, and I don't know. I mean, didn't bother me, but I liked that.
I just thought it was funny how like they were just trying to portray how exactly his disguises
he's
were.
Basically like a shapeshifter. He might as well be.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care because it was funny. I laughed a lot during that. We made a lot of jokes about the gyrocopter. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time
The Rafflecopter.
Yeah, we started calling it the Rafflecopter.
But would you watch this movie again? Like, it was
yeah.
very
I
enjoyable.
would.
Yeah, there was only one problem I had with the whole movie, and that was the ending, what the treasure turned out to be.
The Roman city.
Yeah, there's a whole Roman city under the lake.
No.
Wait, no one. No one has checked. No one has fished in this lake before. No one. Not a single part of the city has broken off and washed up on shore. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I've had problems. I had problems earlier on when I first saw the film, but now that I've watched it, this is maybe the 5th or 6th time, it's less of a problem with me. Like at first I'm like, how could they not look? And now I kind of more back it up. It's like, well, what's in that golf course lake somewhere else?
No, but here's the thing though. It was clearly that river was that lake was used a lot.
Oh yeah, for the water canal and all that stuff.
Yeah. So no, you're not gonna not know that there's a city underneath the water.
I mean, it was a big lake.
Yeah.
That's still not a good excuse.
Yeah, well, obviously this film was not... I lost, all respect for this film as far as logic is concerned when Lupin jumps from one side of the castle wall to the other and then climbs
animation.
up it.
It's supposed to.
I know.
No, but we're talking about like as far as reality is concerned.
Exactly.
There's logic is not something to keep in mind here.
No, that's fine about the no logic thing.
Yeah.
But I think there was the differences between. But the problem was that the aqueduct. People have gone through. Apparently, they kind of entered the aqueduct. I think they entered the aqueduct from the lake.
Yeah, it was
That's-
like a gazebo that was on the lake.
Yeah.
So when they went in the water, they didn't see that. Oh, my head hurts again.
Right.
No, but no, that was the movie is hilarious. I was laughing most of the movie.
My favorite part in that whole movie was when he takes out his he opens the coat and it's just full of fireworks. For a second there, I thought that was just bombs and he was gonna commit suicide. He's like,
This movie just goes really dark.
yeah. He's like, I'm gonna take everyone out with me. I was like, whoa. And then I realized it was fireworks and it was hilarious because they just go shooting everywhere. And of course, somehow Lupin can control where they go and just make them not hit
He
himself.
is a dark wizard.
Because you'd think that one of those fireworks would just hit him straight in the face.
Of course not. Well,
no.
when I saw that for the first time, I remember I didn't initially think they were fireworks. I thought they were like rockets, and he was gonna like shoot out of the ceiling or something like that. You know, it was,
Pretty much the funniest scenes though I thought in the movie were the fight scenes between the Royal Guard and the Japanese police.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing when I saw those, just because of how ridiculous it was.
yeah. The whole film was ridiculous, but it is fun. Like, you know, Matt mentioned that car chase is apparently like. Didn't you say Spielberg thought of it as
liked it. He,
one of
he
the
said
best car
something.
chases?
It is really good. A bird.
Yeah, that.
But I love like when the grenade, like they, you know, like the car, like really, you know, obviously really not anything towards physics. You know, it's like, oh no, and it moves to the this way, and then the other grenade, and it goes this way. I'm imitating the car, and then I love how the windshield gets cracked, and they start having to elbow it off like ice. And
But clearly that windshield was obviously made out of sugar or paper, because they were not afraid of cracking it open.
Yeah, they just don't bleed, don't you know?
Well, Lupin does when he gets shot by a machine gun.
That's true. It does have a couple dark moments in it, for sure.
Yeah, like when seriously though, when they saw Lupin just sliding down the roof, I'm just thinking, oh.
I thought for sure Lupin was just dead. Like, yeah.
Well, that was a really dark turn.
Yeah. And sort of transitioning here with the whole, we talk about, you know, the lack of logic, you know, sort of this creative license you can have with animation. Talking about that as sort of our, you know, anime community, you know, topic or discussion. Because, for example, like we were talking about in, you know, Lupin, you know, he swims upwards through a waterfall, you know, and gets to the top and makes it out okay or whatever.
I totally forgot about that.
That's a great. Pretty much, Lupin is the greatest swimmer of all time. Now,
Apparently.
Now, here's the thing, though. I in my opinion, there's 3 places an anime can land. Anime or any sort of animation, cartoon, whatever, can land itself as far as realism goes. Either it can be very realistic, it could be sort of in the middle, or it could just be silly. The problem is, if you're going to be silly, don't go for realism as well. And it's the same thing for realism. Don't go with silly. The middle one, I'm trying to think of a good example of the middle one. I really can't.
how would you describe this?
I think
film,
something
though?
like
It was definitely right in the silly category.
I think something like Fullmetal Alchemist might be in that era because it
Yeah,
has its funny moments and it goes all chibi, you know, style, but then it's also got very serious
Yeah.
moments and the drawing is mostly realistic.
I think Gurren Lagann is pretty realistic.
That one, I'm going to say it falls more in the middle area.
Yeah.
Really? Wait, why do you say middle?
No,
I'm
but-
interested by that.
Now, here's the thing, though. In Gurren Lagann, when someone gets hurt, they're hurt. There's no like shit. It's treated pretty seriously.
That's true.
Even with all the silliness that's going on and the craziness, getting hurt's still a serious thing. Whereas in Lupin, up until the point he gets shot at point blank, bullets are treated as toys. Everything is a joke. And even after he gets shot, he eats it off. He eats it off.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
Clearly, that's far in the silly category. A more realistic show, that's kind of a harder one to describe.
Bakano?
No, I would even say like maybe this is a little bad, but like take Princess Mononoke compared to this film.
Yeah.
Like you shoot an well, actually no, I can't do that because there's the one scene where he shoots the arrow and then the guy's
It just
arms
takes-
just like
Yeah. It just he like
That's ultra violence, though. That's different.
Yeah. Well,
that falls more in the middle
but
category.
I think it works because it's you know, if it's explained in universe, you know, he's got this demon power. That's why he's super strong. And this, it never explains how Lupin can fly basically by jumping.
It
Yeah.
can't
You
fly.
know?
There are certain points where he's pretty much air dashing.
He's an airbender.
He is the greatest air. He is the Avatar.
I was gonna say, what-
No, he
he
firebends
wa-
the rockets. He water bends through the waterfalls.
He can fly.
He can fly, so he's clearly an airbender. As far as earthbending goes, he defies the laws of physics with a car. Clearly, he is an earthbender.
I mean, he did fall through like a cavern and lived.
Yeah, he drove the car up on the side of the rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Therefore,
There you go. So Lupin the Third, the Avatar.
The true Avatar.
There you go.
Korra, go sit down. Let Miyazaki's Lupin.
But
Let him do
dominate.
But speaking about this whole breaking the fourth wall animation thing, like you brought up that moment in Avatar when Tenzin gets mad and like you see his face like sort of gets colored red like in a Looney Tunes cartoon, and there's a funky music playing in the background. Do you guys like it when stuff breaks the fourth wall like that? Like obviously in the show itself, his face isn't turning red; it's for the audience.
I thought it was funny.
I don't see that really as breaking the fourth wall. The problem is though, I usually say I've never read a comic book in my life. That's not 100% true. I have read a couple issues of Deadpool before. You want to see breaking the fourth wall? There's no fourth wall. He knows he's a comic book character. He insults other people, and he knows that he's unkillable because he's a comic book character. He will insult you as the reader as you're reading it, and he'll tell you how awesome he is because he knows he's a comic book character.
You're right. It's not really breaking the fourth wall. It's more like breaking the diegesis, if you will, of the world. It's like something that obviously doesn't have an in-universe. Like, for example, also in Korra in that first episode when she's talking with the bum, which I actually thought was a very funny scene. He talks about his bush, and then the bush sparkles for like a second.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, well,
Sparkle.
Exactly. Obviously, the bush didn't actually sparkle, but it's there for the audience, and it's a funny moment. So that's the sort of stuff you can do with animation, I guess. Mm-hmm. Or like in Full Metal Alchemist when they do the moments where the characters go really deformed and like chibi and all that. Those are really funny.
Honestly, I find that those are just some of the benefits of animation that they can do.
Yeah, you've got more ability to really animate them.
we've got some breaking news here if you want to go for a news topic.
Okay,
Oh,
real
really?
quick.
Go
Four
for it.
Kids is selling off the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise.
Really?
Wow.
Why would they do that? It's such a big money-making property for them.
That means Four Kids is going under.
Part of me is cheering right now. I'm just not going to do it in the mic because for all those viewers out there, I really don't want you to go deaf. That's all it
The
is.
proposed sale rights also includes relating to the Dragon Ball Z series, including 52 episodes of the show, and their related rights to Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Oh yeah, they're not just going under. I think they're going out of business, straight out of business.
Well, if you did you hear about kind of going in the this still relates is the whole Upper Deck? Did you hear about that incident about a year ago?
No, what?
Where Upper Deck cards, they make baseball and stuff. They were making counterfeit
Yu-Gi-Oh
cards.
What?
Yeah,
That is
and they got
amazing.
sued.
Isn't it? Who is it? Konami that makes the
Yep,
Yu-Gi-Oh
Konami.
cards? Okay, interesting. Well, I'm sort of happy with that because I really don't like 4Kids too much, and I love Yu-Gi-Oh Bridge.
But 4Kids already one of the reasons that's kind of going against 4Kids is there was actually a dispute between 4Kids and TV Tokyo because 4Kids was hiding the results of some of their DVD sales and just merchandise things with Yu-Gi-Oh from the Japanese. They were saying, "Oh, we're only making this much," but they were making a lot more. And what ended up happening? The Japanese lost that. And the Japanese had to end up paying 4Kids, who was automatically doing something wrong. 4Kids won that argument, and they had to, several $1 million. But this kind of just puts the cake on the icing that 4Kids is going. Yeah, icing on the cake. That 4Kids
Cake
is.
on the icing. You just put icing on a plate and then put the cake on top, and you're done.
I do like me some cake.
Oh yeah.
But no, it's all of their Yu-Gi-Oh related assets.
Yeah, but the reason why I say that is because I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, which is this internet parody thing on YouTube. And technically, any Abridged series is breaking copyright because they're using these images.
parody. Parody is protected speech.
Oh, right. You can make that argument, and they add in their own stuff, with the voices and everything like that. And they do a good job of supporting the official release. And Little Karibo's YouTube page has been taken down like literally a dozen times at this point by 4Kids, and
And it keeps coming back, so clearly he's in his legal rights.
Exactly. So if they're gone and not, taking down his YouTube stuff anymore, I'm happy with that. Very cool. So we had some breaking news on the podcast. This is like a first for us.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay. So to talk about what we're going to do on the next podcast, because I think, so far with the yes, bow. So far with the show, we've had a pretty good idea of what we want to do each week, but now, it's not so certain. I would like to do, a little segment each episode where we talk about Korra, because I know I'm going to be keeping up with the show when it premieres, on Saturdays. So
I'll try to.
Yeah,
just a much
less.
Yeah, much smaller.
Not as
segment.
big as this episode.
No, clearly this is the premiere.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be premiering on like Hulu and Nick.com. Right?
I don't know for certain, but the first 2 episodes are on Nick.com right now, so I hope that Nickelodeon does release them online.
Just because I wouldn't be able to watch it on TV.
Yeah, it's Saturday 11, I believe.
AM.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird
I'm
time
not awake
slot.
at 11 a.m.
Just watch it online. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but so we're going to be watching some Korra, but then we got to decide on what anime we're going to do next. And I went on Hulu and YouTube and just found a big list of possible shows we could talk about. I'm just going to read them out, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do. So we've got Monster, Princess Tutu, Fate Zero, Tiger and Bunny, Last Exile, Trigun, Full Metal Panic, Gungrave, Fooly Cooly, Samurai 7, Hero Tales, Welcome to the NHK, Tatami Galaxy, Soul Eater, Code Geass, Gundam Wing, Samurai Champloo, Darker Than Black, Ouran High School Host Club, and Eden of the East.
I'm actually going to start arguing for Gundam Zero.
I was just going to say Gundam Wing. But
Sorry, Gundam Wing.
You want to do Gundam Wing?
Yeah.
I would.
I'm a Gundam dork.
I've actually never seen
any of Gundam.
I've seen Gundam, but I've never seen
Gundam Wing.
I don't. That's the thing. I've seen episodes of Gundam. I don't even know which Gundam.
Actually,
so.
that is. I forget which one is Wing. Is that the big?
That's a decent one, because there's Gundam Wing C Destiny, which is the terrible thing they tried to this sold well, and let's try to make another one.
Is this the one? Is this the one where it's like the Gundam fights have all become like a giant worldwide competition?
Maybe, I don't know. Like it's a more recent one. It's not.
I honestly,
it's like 2003, 2004 ish.
That's the problem. I haven't seen these in years,
I don't
so I can't
think
remember.
so. I think Wing is from the 90s.
You think so?
Well, it's definitely older animation.
Or is this like the giant silly space war one?
I don't know. It's I've seen
I'll investigate.
I've seen the first episode. It's like a whole idea with like these 5 Gundam robots coming down, landing on Earth, and they're like from the colonies, and they're trying to go on Earth, take back fight the Earth people, because the Earth people are hurting the colonies and like oppressing them or something like that.
Now, I remember this one. Oh no, this is the one where the Earth colony, the supposed villains, are more likable than the heroes, because the villains can only fight them off, with tactics and numbers. So you start to feel for the villain. The villain. I'm doing air quotes right now, because they're actually, and then the heroes feel more just like jerk terrorists.
Well, I remember the main character being like talking to this girl that he meets like in the first episode, like, I'm gonna kill you or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly. It is.
So it sounds a little weird.
Yeah, all the Earth units are like less advanced, and the only reason that the heroes ever win is because they're just using more advanced units, even though that the Earth forces have. They're using like these incredibly ridiculous tactics to take them down, and every time they lose, it's only because these are just these 5 ridiculous Gundams.
You said Gundam 000 is available?
It is also available, yes.
That looks like a better bet. Only 25 episodes compared to 49.
Oh yeah, let's go with that. If we're gonna do Gundam,
and it looks like it's got some positive reviews. It's had about 2,000 ratings, and it's sitting up there in the very good, excellent, and good category. So
okay, which one was Mobile Suit Gundam? Because now I can't remember.
That's the original one. That's the
one you don't want to watch.
That's the one from like the 70s.
What I was explaining to Alex is the best way to watch a lot of the old, really janky old Gundam stuff is they actually made 3 films back in the day that cover like the whole plot line, and it's actually just better to watch those 3 films than to waste like 140 episodes of terrible 70s animation.
Right.
Let's fighting love.
All right, so we've got Gundam as a possibility. Personally, for me, I would like. I've seen a good amount of Trigun, but I haven't actually watched the entire series.
I can't remember Trigun at all. I remember when it was
Trigun's
back
all
on.
right.
It's very good.
I actually
remember-
saw that very recently.
It was on Toonami originally. I remember
Yep.
that. So I could sort of remember it.
And it's only 26 episodes, I think.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I would like to suggest either the 2 that caught my attention were Tiger and Bunny, which is awesome. It's a superhero.
It's a
about
new one.
superheroes.
yeah,
So-
it's a newer
It's
one.
not bad.
It's a newer one, and it's like a superhero anime. I mean, come
And
on,
there's
that's
one-
pretty awesome.
Oh, perfect example. I'll talk to you later about the podcast about racial things.
Oh, great.
Okay. And then there is Samurai Champloo.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually a really good one.
Yeah, I've only seen the first 8.
Yeah,
maybe?
I've seen like the first 4 episodes. The story wasn't getting me, but the animation like during the fight scenes is awesome.
Yeah.
So we've got Trigun. Yep, I've seen the first episode of Tiger and Bunny and at the JCon screening, so that was one that really did intrigue me. And that's a 2011 show, I believe.
Is it
So-
already finished?
Yes, it's 25 episodes, I believe. Oh, great! We've got a nice little picture Matt's showing us. Which is great.
It's one of the superheroes from Tiger and Bunny.
Yes.
And it's quite scary.
Not a racial stereotype at all.
Actually, that's
No,
less
it's
a racial
not.
stereotype, and it's more. I can't think of his name from The Fifth Element. The character that
I know who you're talking
Yes.
about. I can't say his name though.
All right, so we've all said our stuff. Matt, is there a particular show you'd like to watch?
I'm good for anything. Gundam 000. I've never ventured in the world of Gundam, but that might be interesting. And Tiger and Bunny, that's a show that I keep watching and stopping and never getting through it. So it's like that might be a good show for me to actually say, I'm going to watch this and then watch it all.
I'm gonna vote for either Trigun or Gundam Zero. That's me.
Yeah, I guess I would either vote for Tiger and Bunny or Trigun.
I would have to go with Tiger and Bunny.
No second vote. Nope. Okay.
Well, okay, fine. If I had to give a second vote, I would have to say Tiger and Bunny and Gundam 00.
Okay.
I'd have to almost go Gundam 00.
All right, so it sounds like Gundam 00 is going to be our one.
Giant robots, yes.
Okay.
Now, there is a second season that follows it, so that'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I see. Okay, well,
Doesn't matter. Giant robots.
yeah,
It's not. They're not going to be throwing galaxies.
Doesn't matter. Giant robots with laser
you
swords.
never know. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. This may not be on Hulu. It may have been one of the ones on YouTube. I'll have to double check, but it's on either Hulu or YouTube. I don't know which one. But I guess Gundam 00 will be what we'll be talking about on the next podcast 2 weeks from now. So Jeremy, you want to do another Saturday screening in your room?
Sure. I'm not know what we're gonna do this time though.
Well, we would watch episodes of Gundam 00.
Well, we could do that.
Sounds
Or we-
good.
We could actually watch something else entirely.
Yes. Well,
Like Mark here. He hasn't seen The Room yet.
yeah, I've never seen the entirety
Oh,
of
we
the
should
room.
see that too. Yeah, it's
either.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh my God, I'm the only one who's seen it. Except everyone knows what I'm talking about when I go, "Oh hi, Mark."
Oh, hi, Mark. Is it available like on Netflix?
It might be.
I don't. We'll have to check that. One other.
no, it's not.
It's not, that's
I've
right.
already.
Oh, really?
We're gonna have to pester our producer for a ride up to the video store.
One thing I forgot to mention is, like I said, I just recently downloaded season 3 of Avatar. So I know Matt hasn't seen that. So if that's another possibility for a show, if we want to rewatch season 3 of Avatar, I could do that very easily because I have them all on my iTunes. But it sounds like Gundam 00 will be what we'll be talking about on the next episode. We'll be looking forward to that. So thank you guys very much for joining me for this awesome episode.
No, thank you, Alex.
Oh, thank you, Mark. You're so kind. Yes, you can.
Oh, and I guess thank you, Jeremy and Matt.
Hey, I'm going to be king of the pirates.
That's
You're going to
true.
be swabbing the deck.
Oh, really? I thought you're JCon treasurer.
I am that now.
What's the difference?
Yes, King of the
Yar,
Pirates
har.
is exactly the same. All right, so you can email us at techheads@avwproductions.com. You can follow us on Twitter at techheadsou. I am Darth Schmitz on Twitter. Mark?
I am M Goldsmith on Twitter, and it's MGOLSMITH because it's not Goldsmith.
And neither Jeremy nor Matt have Twitters.
It would get no use from me. There's no reason
Yeah,
for me to have one.
I've given this speech so many times.
Still waiting
Mark.
for a cool nickname, Mark. You haven't
Mark,
given me one.
there's no reason for me to have one if I'm not going to use it.
I don't really
mean-
use mine very
that's
much
true,
either,
but-
but it's nice to just sort of have it.
Because then, what if you have fans suddenly, and they're like, I want to get a hold of Jeremy. Oh, wait, I can't because he
Marc?
has no other way to get a hold of him.
Mark, you're full of crap.
See, Mark, that way
So are
they
you
just have
saying
to
that
sit there and.
I'm telling you, what if you get fans? Then
I'm
they won't-
unlikable. There's clearly will be
Oh,
no fans.
no.
No, stop it. Nope, that's a lie.
Then they
Yeah,
only
no, it's
then
for
they
the
can only
kids.
imagine him.
Imagine him.
Besides,
by the
His
sound
deep,
of his
sexy
voice.
voice.
Yeah, I'm not that interesting. Clearly, I'm not that
You're a
interesting.
chemical engineering major. That is interesting.
Do you know what we do?
He'll change your chemicals.
If that's the reason,
I hate you so much.
if that's the reason you're not getting a Twitter, I'm gonna force you to get a Twitter. That's no.
What are you going to do?
He'll give you that love potion
I'll-
tonight.
Oh my God.
Jeez. All right, Matt's taking this to a weird place.
I'm going to have to break his nose later.
Next week, Jeremy will have a Twitter because if he doesn't make
Oh,
one, I will make one for him.
That's fine, but it will never get used.
okay. That's fine.
All right. Yes, you can find the Tech Heads blog on avwproductions.com. You should like us on Facebook, except you can't do that because we don't have a public page for that. But you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Not only Shredded Cels, also we got Broken Controllers, Ruptured Nexus. We got a new Xbox podcast, Shattered Discs, a music podcast. We got all this cool stuff. PlayStation Powerhouse.
Actually-
so many different things.
I know.
Could you guys watch the Xbox one? Because they keep breaking stuff in here, and I'd like to justify why they keep breaking stuff.
Yes. Rate and review us. Do all that fun stuff. And for
Just
myself,
kidding, Xbox guys. I love you.
we all love each other at Tech Heads.
And if you like what we're doing, let us know what we're doing right. And if you don't like what we're doing, let us know how
what
to
Mark is doing wrong.
Wow.
It's all on Mark.
Wow. Well, let us know what I or the rest of us can improve on.
It's clearly Shaggy over here that's doing it wrong.
And thank you for listening. This has been Shredded Cels episode 6, and we will see you later.
Totodile.
Bye.
This product is copyright AVW Productions 2012.